Welcome to Exhausted Sparrows Unite. I am your host, Krista Jones, along with my co-host today, Tom Burrell, and we are going to talk about a subject that both of us feel, wow, affects everybody. The role of a caregiver, because, nobody tells you that caregiving doesn't just steal your time, it steals your people. The dinners you can't attend, the texts that you forget to answer, the invites that stop coming slowly without realizing it. Your entire world shrinks and suddenly you're in the middle of the hardest season of your life and the people that you used to have really aren't there anymore. It's valid. It's not because you don't care. It's not because your energy is already spoken for. You're not lazy. You're not a bad friend. You're a caregiver. So today, Tom and I want to talk about why does it happen? How does it impact us? And most importantly, how do we even begin rebuilding these connections, even in small ways? Because you deserve to be known, loved, and remembered as you, not just as a caretaker. Ouch. It's amazing how this affects all of us at some point in our lives, at some time or another. Welcome, Tom. I'm so glad that you're with me today.
I'm glad to be here.
It's fun to have you when you come in. He's all nice. He's all nice and comfortable in his chair, telling me to turn up his microphone.
This chair was not built for.
Get that chair.
That chair?
Yeah, go get that chair, and I'll talk while you're getting that chair.
I'll go get the chair. Is this okay?
Yeah,
we're not going to cut this out.
It's going to be fine. We're not going to cut any of it out because we're living. Take your headphones off.
We're living authentically. Yeah.
We're not going to cut any of this. Tom and I, actually, for those of you that don't know our relationship, we were in the radio world together for about 10, 15 years. And then Tom and I both went our separate ways. Tom's still doing a bunch of amazing marketing stuff at one of our local car dealerships. And I decided I wanted to cure cancer, but since I didn't know how to do that, do you feel more comfortable?
This is so much more comfortable.
Good. Since I didn't know how to cure cancer, I wanted to start a charity and at least feed people through cancer treatment. And I have a charity. It is called Sparrow's Nest of the Hudson Valley here in New York. We feed people that are sick. And in the middle of all of this, I said, why not start a podcast?
Right? Because you didn't have enough to do.
But that was why I wanted to start the podcast, because I thought we are all so crazy busy trying to make it look like we have it all together. We do not have it together. I can't tell you how many times I packed the eggs in the cupboard.
Yeah.
And Christian a week later is like, what is that smell?
Yeah, why is that?
And I want people to see that side of us because nobody wants to talk about it. Social media, everywhere you go, everybody's life looks perfect. And I want to start with mine because I've got a lot of followers on my social media platforms. And I want to just say, I am a hot mess. I'm owning it. I'm embracing it. And it's okay.
It's totally fine. Because the thing that we all think is that everybody else has it figured out.
Right.
Like, oh, how does that person do what they're doing all day long? And then they just seem like they've got it all put together. Guess what? Nobody's got it all put together.
No.
We're all putting on this facade that we've all got it figured out, that everything is cool, but nobody has it figured out. That's the reality of it.
That's the reality. And that's why we're here. We're here to make you feel better when we tell you
Speaking of feeling
our
better,
messy stories. Yes.
99 problems and a chair ain't one. This is a really, really comfortable chair.
We are eventually going to record these though, Tom. So this would be so cute if we could record this and show you in one chair versus the other chair.
Here's what's crazy though. That chair's been sitting there every time we record. It's been sitting right there and I've never thought about moving it over.
You've never moved it over.
This is so nice.
Now you know. So
now
the next
I'm ready
time,
to talk.
The next time
Let's do it.
Now you're going to fall asleep. So, all right, I want to talk about the caregiving row because here at Sparrow's Nest, we are just in the middle of that, right? Mm-hmm. We feed people with a cancer diagnosis. Plenty of people that have no one because we've opened it up to senior citizens in Dutchess County. We're here in the Hudson Valley. For those of you in Australia that are like, where exactly are you? We feed 4 different counties. Sorry about that. And, some people have no one. Some of our senior citizens, so we knew that we had to branch out. But some people, are families that we feed. In fact, 80% of the people we feed are family units. And just watching a caretaker go through a cancer diagnosis with somebody that they love and trying to get to the other side of that. It's really why we created the entire charity. So that we could take something literally and figuratively off their plates.
Exactly. Yeah.
Food.
Just a little way to help. And, that phrase like adulting is hard. Like that's like when you have to make a meal every day, just without a cancer diagnosis, having to make a meal every day. For some of us, that's difficult because of our schedules as it is. I cannot even imagine what it's like for someone who's having to take care of a whole other set of situations.
Sure.
So, and in doing so, basically, I mean, I would imagine your whole life gets flipped upside down. Everything else takes a back seat to the cancer diagnosis,
right,
to the taking care of, to the getting from one doctor to another, getting from one treatment to another, the aftercare as well. I've never had to deal with that myself, but I'd love for you to talk about your experience with that yourself and other people as well, because I'm sure that can be overwhelming. And in this regard, what we're talking about today is that your dedication to that service comes at a cost, at a price, which most people are willing to pay. But it can be detrimental nonetheless.
Absolutely.
And that is that your friends and your social connections run amiss, that
right.
you run afoul of those because you're dedicated wholly and entirely into this other situation that is very vastly important. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
We're not saying that that's not the case, but there's got to be room for you to be able to take care of yourself as well in there, right?
Right. And I think that's what it is, right? Caregiving eats up these hours that you need for social connection. And we don't only see caregivers now as adults. I mean, we have so many tragic, sad situations where the child has to become the caregiver because it's a single mom, it's a single dad in the home. And, the child is the one that's actually trying to keep it together, and care for the adult. And, I like what you said about, you do lose so much in it. Right? You lose connections when more than ever, what you really need are these friendships.
Yes.
And you lose them because you just don't have the time to pour into them.
Well, the emotional dedication that you have to the caretaking, we're not talking about mowing grass as the guy outside is cutting grass right now.
I know if you hear that, we're sorry, but we're authentic.
That's
here.
okay. That's real. That's what's happening. But we're doing it from the comfort of these awesome chairs. But the time dedication doesn't leave much room for other things. The emotional dedication to what's going on, because we're talking about very tragic things oftentimes, and people feel very helpless. I wonder. I'm wondering if people who are in that role, because I've never had to be in that role, if people in that role tend to overdo it in the sense that, like, I'm trying to help so much. There's this horrible thing that's happened to my friend or to my loved one, and I feel helpless. I can't help them with medicine. I can't help them with a miracle, but I can help them with everything else that they possibly could ever need.
Sure.
And I'm going to overdo it because that's my way of showing that I care or that I help.
Absolutely. Well, when you love someone, right, and you're in a helpless situation, you can't control the diagnosis, you can't control whatever's going on in their life. If this is a medical situation, and we obviously should talk about all the other ways you can be a caretaker too, but you can't control that, so you're overcompensating because in many cases you're dealing with an illness that could be a life or death situation. You don't know what kind of time you have. You're dedicating all your time there, and I think sometimes your friend groups and people around you, they just don't know how to handle that. They don't know what they can do for you, because a lot of times we're going through a situation right now. We are about to do a farm to table gala here at Sparrow's Nest, and we have one of the honorees that is in the hospital and not, potentially, we just don't know where we're standing. And his wife just won't leave, right? Won't even leave for an hour, will not even probably come to the gala, may not even speak for him. And I completely get that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that I can do as her friend because she's not leaving. I can't go in there and say, take a few. I mean, she doesn't want to do anything. She wants to be with him. So I think too, in these situations where you're caregivers of people you love, your friends just don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
Because you really can't give up that reign. It doesn't make you selfish. It's just you don't want to give up any time that you potentially have with somebody that just isn't feeling well.
And your friends on the other side, I've been a friend of someone who's been going through something like that. I've opened up and told them, listen, I don't know how to talk to you. I don't know what to say to you. I don't know if I'm saying the wrong thing or if you're going through something with your wife and I send you a funny video, like, is that okay for me to send you a funny video? Because I don't know if you're going through this. I don't know what's going on your end. Yeah. Is it appropriate for me to send you funny stuff while you're going through that stuff? Can I call you and talk about the game last night? Is it okay if I ask about your wife? Is it, I don't know how to be your friend in that situation because I don't know what I can say and what I can't say.
But I think that's great that you say that.
Yeah.
Because I think you need to say that to the caregiver as a friend. I think you need to say, what do you need from me? Do you need me to back off? Do you need me to send you text every day? Do you want me to send you prayers every day? Yeah. But I like that because everybody's going to answer that differently. And we just need to respect whatever their answer is.
And that's coming from this side of it. On the other side of it, you do need those things. You do need those releases. You do need that time to yourself to even just to clear your brain about what's going on or just to refresh, take a nap. That's we rest at night. We sleep at night to rest our bodies from the work we've done all day and to prepare us for the next day. You kind of need that as well. And human connection and socialization, you do need that.
And I think sometimes too, we as caregivers, I think you feel guilty, that the friendship is fading. But I think you really need to reframe that and you need to name it differently. At this season of my life, I just can't give to this friendship the way I used to. But that will come back, hopefully. I mean, of course, you don't know how that's going to come back. You don't know if somebody is going to pass for that to come back. You don't know if they're going to get better for that to come back. But, I think sometimes caregivers feel this shame that they should not feel because really it's a badge of honor that you're taking care of somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we all, right, look at a caregiver and say, my gosh, thank God for them, right?
It's such a noble, it's the most noble gift you can give is your time to someone else who's in need.
100%.
The cost of that oftentimes is feeling isolated.
100%.
Because you're dedicated to that one job, that one task of helping that person. And it can be overwhelming, but listen, that's normal to feel that way.
Sure.
It's normal to feel isolated in that situation. Not just as a caretaker, but there's other areas of life that we'll talk about later. But in those situations, the feeling of isolation that you feel, that's completely normal. And it's okay to feel that way. It's natural to feel that way because of the nature of what you're doing. But in order to get through that, we'll talk about some tips on how you can balance not feeling isolated while still helping out as well. So,
we've kind of touched a little bit on the fact that, caretaking doesn't necessarily have to be, with a person that is sick. As an employer, we're caretakers of our employees. As a mom or a dad, we're caretakers, right, of our children. And for me, as we talk about isolation and loneliness, I'm a caretaker for this charity, right? So my job is to make sure that, 400, more than 400 people every single week get fed. And I experience loneliness all the time. I cannot tell you this fear of missing out. I've really had to reframe my brain. I do not go with friends on the weekends. I don't go to dinners out. There is so much stuff that I don't do. Absolutely, my friendships are almost non-existent. And people, that know me would say, no, they're not. You have a million friends. I mean, I really don't.
You have a million people you're friendly with.
Yeah, but I don't have a lot of friends because my focus is here. And for many people, your focus may be your work life because you're the boss or whatever that is. You know, you're in charge of these big projects. And so for me, this consumes so much of my time. And there's so many sick people that rely on me to make sure I'm getting them food or whatever else they need. There isn't time for anything else. And, you know, friends have dropped off. I mean, I get it. It's been 10 years now. Friends are like, I'm really tired of you not answering my text, or, you know, you can't go out, or you're too tired to do this and that. So I get that loneliness. Like, I am so vulnerable to that I literally shut off social media. I will not go on. I cannot see that you are all out without me. I cannot hear. Like, there are conversations like at the gym or other places I will purposely walk out of because I wasn't a part of something. Like, it is a real thing. It's, you know, you have a higher risk of depression, a higher risk of anxiety, and physical decline.
So with those negative feelings attached to it, how do you feel like you can navigate?
Well, we will get to that.
Well, I don't mean us as general. How can you do that?
Oh, well, it's a tug of war.
Let's get personal here.
It's a tug of war, right?
I can imagine.
Because I've got a job to do. I have 400 plus people that are under me.
And it's not like you're running a deli where you just go, well, I'm done making sandwiches today.
Right.
There are families in need who are relying on you.
Sure.
This is different than just being of service. It's a bigger service than just I'm serving people. This is something people are relying on you for.
Right. I mean, it's a tug of war with a caretaker of any type, your business, your children, it is a tug of war because you have a responsibility to take care of whatever is under you, but you also need to give yourself some time. And, you know, for me, I don't have a lot of time. And, you know, we talk on these episodes about you should free up your time. And I do every morning at 4 a.m. I get up.
That was a good impression, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I run or walk 3 miles, and then I do a workout class for an hour. So every morning I spend an hour and a half to 2 hours doing that. And then I start my day. So that for me is my time just to get in a better mental space. But I don't have a lot of time. So, you know, when you hear and you read all these self-help books and give yourself a lot of time, caregivers, you know, sometimes really don't have that time.
Yeah.
So for me, it's all about retraining my mental well-being that this is okay, Krista. At the end of the day, this is the most important. At the end of the day, I am living for the applause of one, and he is above me. At the end of the day, if I didn't go to a dinner and I didn't make a social connection, like I'm just checking and saying, did I do everything I was supposed to do, God, for you today? Did I fulfill everything that I was supposed to fulfill to get my day done? I have to reframe my brain and the isolation and the loneliness. And I try to send text when I can. And we'll get into all those tools and things that you can do. But a lot of it is you have to retrain yourself because you are lonely and you are isolated and it is taking a lot of time. And you can't get out of that.
So you can be a servant, though, I think, without being a martyr.
100%.
Is that safe for me to say?
100%. And, you know, in my work life, and many of you that feel like you're a caretaker of your businesses, in my work life, just last week to my board of directors, I said, now there's only 4 of us that run a $1.4 million operation. I said, I have to hire 2 people next year. And I'm going to figure out, because for me, I'm in the charity world. I try really hard to make sure that not more than 20% goes to not only salary, but the overhead of the building and all the other expenses. And I try to make sure 80% goes back to the program. So, they said
you're running a business at an 80% profit margin. That's if you figure it out that way. ShopRite doesn't have an 80% profit margin.
No, but donors want to see that, right?
Yeah,
they want to see as close as they can.
That's a big pressure.
So that's kind of my goal. So I said to them, I need to hire 2 people next year.
Yeah.
And my board was kind of like, okay, whatever you got to do, because they know that I'm now saying I need more help. So that definitely, without being that martyr type, that is, you've got to release control.
That's you finding help.
You
Yes.
have to bring more people in, even in the volunteer sector, I'm doing that. You've got to bring more people in to help you. And I think that's what a caretaker can do, right? You can bring other family members in. You could, say to your children, hey, yes, grandma is sick. Can you go over today and read her a story? You're only 11, but that is taking an 11-year-old and giving them a sense of being, a sense of purpose that they can help grandma as well. So I definitely think that you have to be able to relinquish some of your responsibilities as a mom, as a dad, as a baseball coach, right?
Yep.
Let's look at it from your point of view. As a baseball coach, you are gone every single weekend, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But do you have people under you on your team that you can give some things to? Looking at film, searching the stats, looking at the other teams you're about to play, getting the hotel rooms. Like, are there things that as the main caregiver of whatever it is you're caring for that you can get off your plate and give to other people?
There's certainly things that could be delegated, yeah, and we do. I feel like we do a pretty good job of that. Now with 3 kids playing travel sports, it's a lot to get around. And again, I know this is different than a caretaker for someone who's dealing with a cancer treatment or who's a mom or whatever. But it's a responsibility nonetheless, because there's people counting on us. So one thing that we've done is, early on, there was so much stress to get everybody in bed by 8:30.
Right.
Get everybody in bed by 8:30. That means if practice goes until 8, that means we get home and we either have to shower real quick and go to bed,
or you go to bed smelly.
Yes. Yeah. And as they get older, that smelliness factor goes through the roof. So they kind of have to shower. So we've kind of thrown away the bedtime clock.
Okay.
It's just been like, we've given that. If you want to say delegated,
you've lowered the bar,
because that's not a standard we can meet.
Good.
By the time everybody gets home and we cook dinner and we eat dinner, it's 9:30 before we even start to sit down to eat. So we just live we live our schedule differently.
Sure.
So
I like that. You're lowering the bar. So that's a great tool. Lower the bar where you can.
And in those times, though, we're still eating together as a family. We're still doing all the family stuff together. We're watching TV. We're having dinner. We're talking. We're telling us stories about whatever's going on. So we still have that socialization time. The other thing is we make it a point to still spend time with friends and family. There's times where we do miss baseball because there's something else going on, and that's more important. And it's about prioritizing those things, making the time for those things. Now, with regard to what you were talking about with the caretaker, can I suggest something?
Oh, I love it.
Is having, not necessarily delegating, because I know sometimes there's things like, you can't drive grandma to dialysis because you're 11 years old.
Sure.
But you know what you could do when you're 11 years old? You could come with us. And it just makes that, now on the way, that 20 minutes it takes to get to grandma's house, we can talk.
You're connecting. You're connecting with your friend. You're connecting with your child.
Yes. Or you can do the same thing with a friend of mine.
Absolutely.
With a friend of yours.
Or a friend of yours.
Yeah,
I'll
or
take
a friend of
yours.
Yeah.
With me.
Some random friend of mine.
Are you a friend of Tom's?
Hey, your friend of Tom's? Come with me. Yeah.
On a
right
drive.
Now. Here, seatbelt on. Let's go.
I mean, yeah, absolutely, right?
Because I do that with, I know it sounds silly, but like
it
menial
doesn't at
tasks.
all.
Like when I go to the grocery store, I hate to go to the grocery store by myself. So just, hey kids, which one of you guys is coming to the grocery store with me? I don't know why I want to take one of them, but there's a comfort in not being isolated in that way. Just like,
there's one-on-one time, and think of how great that child feels.
I just
me
like
and dad
being
alone
around you,
in the car.
Can we do that?
Are we going to smuggle in some ho-hos without mom knowing?
Well, I just remember like when I was a kid, it was always cool when we did a task like that or something like that. When I went with my grandfather, with my dad, it was like, we get that one-on-one time. And that's where you can sneak in, quote unquote, some of the socialization time. For me, we were just talking about like on social media and stuff. Like I just can't see that stuff. Right. So, and that's good. I know my mental capacity, but what I will do is I try every single day to text a little blurb to a friend. Like this week,
many of my friends have reached out and they're like, are you okay? Are you alive? Are you whatever? You know, we're getting ready for a big event. And I may not have been able to write back, but in the morning I'll just write, I love you, thank you, or I'm good, I miss you. Or it's really small, but something that lets me connect back to them that just shows I appreciate that you've thought of me. You know, and you know what? If you love me and you are my friend, that's enough for you. And many of my friends know that, like, I'm not calling you back. When I go, I'll call you back, Tom, you know that about me. I'm like, I'll call you right back. He's like, it's 7 hours later.
No.
But you also have to surround yourself with those kind of people that can ebb and flow with the season of your caretaking responsibilities and realize just how serious that is.
And so I have an hour-long commute twice a week.
Okay.
Where I drive between 8 and 9 o'clock. I have to drive out to Middletown. It's about an hour drive. And during that time, I listen to podcasts, I listen to music, I listen to this podcast, I listen to whatever. But there's occasions where I'm driving along and I go, you know what? I'm reminded of this and this person who I haven't talked to in a while. Let me just shoot them a text message real quick. And I don't text and drive. I use the Apple CarPlay thing. And I text that person, just, hey, Bob, just thinking about you. Hope you and the family are doing great. Have a wonderful day. I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah.
And just those little, if you want to, I hate to use the term micro connections, but like little 5-minute blurbs like that. Like you said, hey, it's your birthday tomorrow. Let me be the first to say happy birthday.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry I missed your birthday last weekend. Hope it was a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you have this thing going on this weekend. Good luck at it. Hey, how are the kids' baseball? I know you were talking about the tournament thing a couple weeks ago. How'd the baseball tournament go? Just those little micro connections.
Keep the connection going, right? So that the connection doesn't fade.
And they don't take a lot of time.
No.
Just in the moment when you hear it in your head, hey, I wonder how Bob's doing. Don't just go, oh, okay, well, you know, I wonder how Bob's doing. Hey, Bob, how are you doing?
Or
Send.
call. I call. I don't really text when I'm in the car. I will call in the car. Not that we are not promoting texting and driving. No. But
we're doing it safely with Apple CarPlay.
I think calling is good too, to physically hear the voice. I think a lot of times we just take an easy way with a text. Not always, Tom, and I'm not in any way. But you called me and the trip to Syracuse because we ended up talking about the podcast, right?
What are we going to talk about today? Yeah.
But that is a way that you can use your time as a caretaker of children, businesses, whatever. And sometimes I, used to listen to the Wiggles the whole way in the car without my kids going, are you kidding me? The kids weren't even in the car. But I digress.
Yeah.
That is a great way to just make 5-minute little calls in between appointments, things just to catch up, right? Or, you know what else, when you're a caregiver, I think, this is a little different. I had rotator cuff surgery, completely fine. I thought it was a very tough surgery, but I invited people in because I couldn't go out. So as a caretaker, invite people in.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a single mom and, your kids are like all over the place and you've got work and all this stuff and you're exhausted on a Saturday. Invite a friend over for an hour.
Yeah.
Why don't you come over and we'll order a pizza?
Yeah.
Because it may be too overwhelming for you to get out, but invite somebody to come in. And you know what? And don't be embarrassed of your messy house and all that stuff. You got to have those kind of friends.
You have to we just talked about it. You have to
lower the bar. Yeah.
Because the expectations is what will set you apart from that. And also, again, going back to what we said before about sharing that time. Hey, listen, Sarah, I haven't seen you in a while. This Saturday, I'm going to be taking care of XYZ. Why don't you come along and help me out? We can chat while we're doing it. We're doing some work, and it'll be fun to reconnect with you. And then afterwards, we'll go to lunch or whatever. Yeah, that's another. But the importance of staying connected and grounded to your life it's so noble to give of yourself, but you can't give of yourself if there's nothing left. Right? You have to refresh that and reclaim that.
Sure.
And that's okay. That's totally okay. The people that you're taking care of, they know that you have stuff going on. They're so appreciative of the fact that you're even showing up and helping them. They're relying on you. I can't imagine in that situation that someone would want you to give so much of yourself that you have nothing left.
Well, and the people that you're caring for right? Think of how sad they would be to see all that you are missing, and think of the guilt that they would feel,
Of course,
because you're taking care of them. And your friends adapt to that. Good friends adapt to that.
Yes.
And sometimes that's how I always say prune your bushes, and everybody here laughs at me. But sometimes that's where you get rid of the low-lying fruit.
Yeah.
If you can't be with me in the middle of, me being promoted to CEO of this big corporation, me being a mom that right now is in a season that's overwhelming, me taking care of my father who is diagnosed with cancer, if that's really where you also find the people that will show up. And like you said, connection is so important. The rest, you were mentioning rest, of course, physically, you need all of that, but mentally is just as important as physically, because you can isolate yourself so quickly.
And another way for you to be a friend as well to people who are, if you see a friend who's in that situation where you can sense that they're giving too much of themselves, is you can help them in some way. I have a friend of mine who his father passed away recently, within the last few years, I should say. And during that time, he spent a lot of time with him. Obviously, it was a very intense, caring situation. And the way that I was able to help support him through that and connect with him still is, hey, do you need me to take your son to practice? Hey, do you need us to order your pizza? Hey, can we bring by some flowers? Hey, can we bring by a ziti? Can we do the things that you're talking about that you do here? It's almost like paying it forward. Does that make sense?
It does.
So they're giving everything of themselves to this other cause. We're giving not everything of ourselves, but we're giving where we can of ourselves to them to kind of backfill the hole that they're leaving in their normal, quote unquote, normal lives.
Right.
That makes sense?
And I think it does. I had a caregiver on one of the episodes, an early episode, Giselle White, who ended up losing her beautiful daughter, Sheena, to cancer when she was only 41 years old. And Giselle then really, as a grandma, kind of became the mother to her daughter's kids. And something else that she said is, sometimes just don't even ask me.
Yeah.
Just send me the pizza.
Yeah.
Like,
just do it. Yeah.
Sometimes just do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes a caregiver can't even tell you what they need. Sometimes a busy mom, a single dad doesn't even know what they need, but you and I both know a pizza delivered to their house. Like, who in the heck doesn't love pizza? Unless you're gluten-free. You should know that in advance, then get them a gluten-free pizza. But you know what I'm saying? Like, food is love.
You're so great. You're so concerned
I really
in this
am.
imaginary situation that someone might be gluten-free.
You might be gluten-free, and you got to know, are they vegetarian? Like, this is all important
Totally.
stuff.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But you know what? That's why this charity was formed, because I know food is love. I know you need food to survive. I know food is nourishment. I know that food makes you feel better physically, mentally. I know that shows that I love you. So you could do that in your own little world. You could just give them a DoorDash gift card. However you want to do it. Sometimes you don't even have to ask. That is the friend is just so amazing. Or maybe as the person that is going through so much, you've just got to swallow your pride and go, yeah, you know what you can do for me?
Yeah.
Go get me a pizza.
And just name it. Yeah.
Go get me some nachos.
But it takes humility to do that.
Get me tequila.
And nobody thinks you are, tequila's good. Nobody thinks you are less of a person because you have to ask for help.
But that's our problem.
Exactly.
We
Yes,
don't
I know.
ask for help because we're supposed to have it all together. And this is why this podcast is so important.
Exactly.
I am asking every single day for something because I cannot do it alone. You need a village.
So from this comfortable chair that now rotates, the other one doesn't rotate. It's very tight here, but I'm rotating here in the chair, very comfortable. From this seat, I give you and on all the listeners permission to ask for help. It's okay. It's okay to do that.
And I want to tell you something that my friend Beth Corso said to me, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and I've said it on episodes before, and I'm going to say it again. And that is the reason I started taking help. She said to me, I want to do things for you. You're always doing things for other people. When you say no to me, you have actually stopped me from giving a gift. Think about that.
Yeah.
You want to give somebody else this gift. You want to help them. You want to make them smile. So a caretaker saying no or not giving you ideas and things that you can do to help, you're taking away from somebody else the joy that they would feel to just relieve your burden for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 days, whatever the case may be. And that for me, because I'm an empathetic person, so that spiraled me. I was like, oh my gosh, I've hurt her feelings. I made her feel bad. I said no. So, but that really, for me, that sunk in.
Yeah.
And then now when people say things, I'm trying really hard to say, you could, or anything you want to do, I would appreciate anything. And that takes the pressure off of me and them, and it brings somebody else joy.
It's another connection. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom, for this, because this is a big deal. This is a subject that if we're not dealing with, we're going to have to deal with at some time in our life.
And these micro connections, they take just moments.
Just moments. And caregiving changes your world, but it doesn't have to erase your connections, because you're more than the meals that you're cooking and the medicine you have to track, the appointments that you're keeping. You are still a human. You're a soul, and you should be seen. So this week, I want you to pick one person that you miss, and I want you to send them a text or call them. Don't think it. Just, I don't know. Hey, I miss you. I love you. Something. Because the friend and the connection fade is real, but it is not the end. Even in your exhaustion, please just take one small step at a time, because you deserve to have connection in your life no matter where you are. And until we meet next time on Exhausted Sparrows Unite, check out our website at sparrownestcharity.org and be kind to yourself and each other.